does it take to make 1,000 horse? I know you mentioned you built the engine, but really...
What is it about the automobile and exciting cars that you guys love, that I love? Well, let's look. Could it be cars that have powerful engines? Could it be cars that have beautiful styling? Could it be cars that have loud exhaust systems? Or could it be cars that have very large wheels? Maybe it's just to drive cars that are really, really fun to drive, like this. But whatever that is, it's an illness that us car people only can appreciate. Only car people know that we crave for horsepower, we crave the sounds, we crave the excitement, and we crave changing the way our cars look and feel just to make it our own. It's a sickness, that's right, in fact, that we all share, whether you like a tuner car, sports car, whether you like an exotic car, whether you like a dragster or a muscle car. Maybe you like to roll the gears with a manual transmission, maybe you like the double clutch transmission. But it's all much better than the sickness that those people have called testicular torsion, because that, in fact, is what you have when you drive that type of car. Some people like the JDM cars because of the tunability. Some people just like take their sports cars out to the racetrack and bring them out. And some people just get excited by the sheer thrust of a high-powered car. Do you remember the first time you went on a roller coaster and the thrill and the excitement it gave you? The initial rush was one of fear and a little bit of anxiety, followed by sheer terror, excitement, and then finally concluded by the dizziness and the rush that ensued after you realized that you just survived that exciting drive. Well, it is very much the same for car people when you're behind the wheel of a supercar on a racetrack, or a high-performance sports car, or a highly tuned JDM car. This all is just something that non-car people will never ever appreciate. They could never justify it to their parents. Their parents will never understand. They could never justify it to their brother who just doesn't care. They could never justify it to people who drive those kinds of cars. They could never justify it to anybody but themselves. And themselves, that being car people. Only car people, real car enthusiasts, people who love the exciting drive, can only understand and appreciate what that excitement is all about. Those folks that have never had the opportunity to experience firsthand what 650 horsepower feels like under your right foot, those who have never understood what pulling the levers on a dual clutch transmission at full chat will never understand. Those who have never rode a 6-speed manual gearbox and blow-off valves popping and whistling will never understand. Those who have never heard the whine of a supercharger under full boost will never understand. Those who have never experienced the power of a car that can burn off a set of tires in about 15 seconds will never understand. But guess what? You and I, we understand because we are car people. And that is all there is to it. And maybe that's all that really matters. Maybe it's better that we keep it to a select bunch, like you, like myself, and not that all of these cars are accessible to the general population. After all, maybe some of the novelty would disappear, and maybe they just would not be quite as special if everybody drove a high-performance car. But that is the fact. We drive cars because they're ours, we make them ours, we change them, we tune them, we modify them, we put different wheels on, sometimes we wrap them, sometimes we change the power outputs, sometimes we just leave it bone stock but drive the wheels off it, take it down to the racetrack, or a quarter mile at a time. Maybe we like to hit the circuit and actually race that Lamborghini or that 911 turbo Porsche. Or maybe we just like to look and gawk and spend time at car shows talking to other car enthusiasts who also appreciate fine cars like a Porsche 918 Spider or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Porsche. Nobody will possibly understand why you, why me, why we all love our cars. It makes no sense. There's no way to justify the costs associated with modifying, the costs associated with buying a $150,000 car, the costs associated for the additional fuel, and the costs associated for additional maintenance and insurance. There is no place on this earth to try to justify to the wrong people that it makes sense to drive a fancy tuner car or a fast sports car or an exotic. There is absolutely no way to justify that to the nth degree. However, it doesn't matter. We don't have to justify it, because when you got your foot to the floor under that 650 horsepower Corvette, or you're stabbing at the throttle under that amazing Jaguar F-Type R that makes the most amazing exhaust sounds. Whatever it is that makes you excited to meet up with your friends and go for a drive, or go racing in your car, or just put in that new oversized turbocharger and wastegate, whatever it is that floats your boat, that is something you will never justify to non-car people, and maybe that's best. Let those Toyota Camry drivers sail off to the sunset. Maybe those 1994 Toyota Celica drivers just want to keep fixing those $500 winter beaters. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You don't need to justify to them. We are car people through and through. And again, as I say, you don't need to justify it. You just need to enjoy it, because after all, everyone, life is just too short to drive boring cars. And that's why we're talking about why we love our cars.